Kalbunur Siddiq is from the Urumqi region of East Turkestan. She was a Mandarin teacher in an elementary school. In 2017, she was sent by the authorities to educate people she was told were illiterate. Kalbunur was forced to teach Mandarin at a men's camp between March and September 2017, as well as at a women's camp between September and October of the same year. Kalbunur, who now lives in exile in the Netherlands, estimates that the two camps held around 3,000 and 10,000 detainees, respectively. In our interview with Kalbunur, she provided rare insights into the management of China's camp system. But despite her freedom, Kalbunur is still haunted by the abuses she regularly witnessed in the camps. My name is Muater Ilikut. I am a project analyst at Uyghur Transitional Justice Database. Uyghur Transitional Justice Database is an ongoing project that focuses on the registration of the disappeared and extrajudicially interned Uyghurs in East Turkestan. We're the largest database documenting the atrocities being committed by the Chinese Communist Party towards the Uyghurs and other Turkic populations since the revision of its legislation in 2017. That legislation allowed the local governments to educate and transform people influenced by extremism at so-called vocational training centers, which are actually concentration camps given their extrajudicial nature. The UTGD gathers data about this persecution and produces reports based on our data. Most of our data are gathered through online information platforms as well as testimonies given by family members, friends, and colleagues of those who are detained. For each testifier, we create over 60 data points, making our research particularly deep. The UTGD team is traveling to the Netherlands to meet Kalbunur and take face-to-face interviews. We will document her stories and expose the mass atrocities committed by the Chinese regime.
Ziyaretimizni qabul qilganingizga rahmat. Başta 2017 yıldan başlap lagerda ko'rganlaringizni tafsiliy so'zlab bersangiz bo'ladimi? Men 2017 yılı 3. aydan başlap Xitoy hukumatining majburlashi bilan kamp lagerlarga o'qituvchilikqa evatildim. Men borgan bu lagerlar intayin dahshatlik, intayin qo'rqinchli bir o'rin bo'lib, bu yerda harbiy soqchilar qurolli xuddi jangga chiqadigan holatda turdi. Men borgan dastlab kundalam 18-20 yoshlik atrofidagi bir qizning jasadining ikki harbiy achkit borganligini ko'zim bilan ko'rdim. U lagerlardagi mahbuslar qarorli holda Xitoy soqchilarining majburlashi bilan noma'lum dorilarni ichidi, uqilurdi, andan keyin ulardan qon oladi. Noma'lum dori ichish sababidan bu yerdagi qiz ayollarning butunlay odatlari to'xtab ketgan. Uningdan sirt yana Xitoy soqchilarining har xil so'roqlar jarayonida ularning majburlashi bilan bosqinchiliklarga uchraydi va bosqinchilikdan keyingi dahshatli zulmlarga uchrab turdi. Bu lagerlardagi mahbuslar intayin nachar bo'lgan sharoitda, intayin nachar bo'lgan yemekliklar bilan o'zlarining hech qanday hayotini saqlab qolish va yashashdan umidini uzgan holda xomushlarda yashaydi. Ular butunlay Xitoy soqchilarining kontrolida, ularning buyrug'ida sinflarga kirib chiqdi va o'zining kameralarida hech qanday un-tinsiz holda o'shada o'ltirdi. Ham Xitoy soqchilarining har kunki savol-so'roqlarga, qiyin qistoqlarga birlashib berib yashaydi. Bu joydagi mahbuslar %90% 18 yoshdan 40 yoshgacha. Qolgan 10% 40 yoshdan 70 yoshliklarmi bu yerda bor. Shu lagerlardagi soqchilardan anglashimcha, u lagerlardagi mahbuslarningki qiynash usuli, ya'ni to'qliq qiynash usullari 4 xil bo'lib, elektronlik to'qmoq, elektronlik palay, elektronlik qalpoq va elektronlik temir o'rindiq.
Since 2016, A great deal of news reports and a growing number of research papers have been documenting and exposing the human rights violations committed and continues to be committed by the Chinese Communist Party towards the Uyghurs and other Turkic people of East Turkestan. Among these violations, the establishment of the extrajudicial internment camps have been the most prominent over the last couple of years, which have been disguisedly referred to as re-education and vocational training centers by the Chinese regime. According to the United Nations estimation, up to 3 million people are held in China's mass internment camps. Per our latest statistic, we have registered more than 6,000 testimonies of people who are missing, detained in camps, sentenced to prison, or died in camps. China refers to its internment camps in East Turkestan as re-education or vocational training centers. Nevertheless, the majority of the detainees have studied in higher education or professional training. The average age of the internees in our dataset is 42, which demonstrates that the majority of them would not normally be enrolled in such job training programs. The release rate of the internees is at markedly low 4.1%. This finding speaks volumes about the falsehood of the regime's internment campaign. Furthermore, our satellite team has documented the geolocations of 234 re-education camps, 257 prisons and pre-trial detention centers, and 87 Laogai prison farms. There are some horrible findings among these statistics. A total of 147 camps have forced labor factories inside or near the camps. 67 camps have very high security level, like prisons. At least 42 camps have crematoriums located within 10 kilometers. A total of 147 prisons or detention centers were newly built or expanded during 2017 to 2020, meaning that the existing detention centers had no more capacity for the mass arrest in East Turkestan from 2017. Independent tribunals and parliaments around the world are increasingly declaring that the mass atrocities being committed towards the Uyghur people constitutes genocide. With all other paths to justice foreclosed, the responsibility falls on international societies and national government to speak up for the victims and fulfill their obligations under the 1948 Genocide Convention. The responses of international societies, in terms of their political will and their economic decision-making, will show us how much they adopt the international law in practice.